Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for joining me here today. We are going to get into a brand new topic, which is how histamines affect estrogen levels and how estrogen levels affect histamine. So I've done shows on high levels of estrogen. I've done shows on PCOS, estrogen dominance, infertility, a lot of hormone-based shows. Those are obviously all complementary. You can find those at stephencabral.com/podcast. So if you're dealing with any infertility or hormonal-based issues, men or women, you can scroll through the images at the top and you can actually just click on the hormone imbalance one. You've got a lot of shows right there. If you want to go deep on female hormones, you can go to stephencabral.com/courses. I have a whole course on female hormone imbalances, literally everything from cycle dysregulation, infertility, menopause, etc. But also I've done many shows on histamine issues because I myself used to deal with debilitating mast cell activation syndrome, mastocytosis, hives, allergies, etc., etc. It was awful. And so I've done a lot with histamines, and I want to share with you here today how the two affect each other. So this is for both men and women. So what I want to start with is this. For those people that don't know a lot about histamine, we can absolutely link up a couple previous podcasts that do a deep dive on histamines. So what histamines are, they are going to be things that are essentially degranulated from mast cells. Now, back in the day, not too far back in the day, and up until late 2019, I used to do microscopy, live blood cell microscopy with wellness clients right in my practice. And we'd actually look at their blood. We would legitimately just take a finger prick. We would look at it on a slide, under the microscope, and we would show them, do they have elevated levels of white blood cells? Do they have elevated levels of mast cells? I mean, you could see all sorts of things in someone's blood. It's really, really impressive. It's unbelievable to be able to do that. Now, again, you can go overboard with trying to provide diagnoses from that. But as I always say, it's just one more tool for you to try to figure out underlying root cause imbalances. Okay, so it's important to look at that. But to see mast cells inside the blood, it's pretty impressive. And you can actually see the granules under a high-powered microscope. And these granules that come out, the histamines, actually then cause a lot of the issues that people suffer from when it comes to migraines or brain fog or joint pain or skin rashes. What else? Hives that we've talked about before. Many nervous system-based issues and skin. Because what happens is they're typically surrounding the GI tract, so bloating, gas, pain in the stomach, which, I certainly had a lot of pain in my intestines from all those histamines, but it's also in the lungs and the skin. So that's a lot of histamines-based issues. I'll give you all the symptoms of the histamine-estrogen tract in just a moment. But then estrogen, both men and women create estrogen, okay? It's just a larger amount for women than men, but both men and women create estrogen. Women have a higher amount of estrogen, typically, if they're menstruating during the first 14 days of their cycle. It gradually builds and builds and builds, and then it starts to fall a little bit after days 14, 15, etc. And what happens, though, is estrogen can either stay a little high in the luteal phase, that's the second 14 days of a woman's menstrual cycle, or progesterone levels can be low, and that's called estrogen dominance. And estrogen dominance can look like things like water retention, low mood, acne, especially on the jaw and the chin, cheek area, low mood, skin rashes, oilier skin, irritability, bloating, pain, menstrual pain. These are a lot of the issues associated with estrogen dominance. So when we look at those two, we say, okay, both men and women can get these. Men can end up with more breast tissue development called gynecomastia. They could end up with more water retention. They could end up with a little bit more mood disturbances. These things can all happen from excess testosterone conversion to estrogen. So now when we're looking at what happens when you're really dealing with a lot of these histamine and estrogen levels combined, and I'll tell you exactly how it works in just one moment, you're going to see a lot more headaches, a lot more migraines, a lot more fatigue, a lot more brain fog. You're going to end up with random mystery skin rashes or just kind of itchy, blotchy skin. Certainly more hives, sometimes for seemingly no reason at all. Worsening of menstrual-based cramps, gut-based issues. Typically, it's like pain. You feel a couple inches beside your belly button, right beside your navel. Bloating. Not everybody gets the loose stool. Loose stool will be kind of in more extreme cases inside the digestive tract, but certainly you can because it can speed up peristaltic movement, so that's certainly a possibility. A lot more food sensitivities because mast cells and histamines are part of the immune system, and when it gets aggravated and accelerated, then certainly there can be more food sensitivities and gut permeability, so leaky gut. So that's that. Those are the main ones. Now, chronic issues with this can lead to PCOS-based issues. It can lead to fibroids. It can lead to cardiovascular issues. So this is nothing to kind of, sweep under the rug. This is a real issue that we want to be able to deal with and take care of, and luckily you can. Here's the other interesting thing. Some people from a genetic standpoint, this is typically not the only reason, but someone like myself with a lack of production of diamine oxidase and poor detox issues and also methylation issues. I really hit the lottery when it came to those, single nucleotide polymorphisms, they're called SNPs. You have a lot more of a challenging time degrading histamines in your body. It's just, that's the way that it is. But now, the good news is I learned how to be able to deal with that. And you can too, right? So again, no special genetics here. Just learn the things to work with the body to be able to come these these challenging issues that many of us have to deal with. So let's get right into it. So I'm going to make this real easy, like real straightforward and actionable, because whether you're an integrative health practitioner or you're a doctor or you're someone working with patients or your wellness clients in your practice, or you're someone who wants to figure this out on your own, I want to share with you why sometimes during your menstrual cycle that you're going to feel more of the symptoms that I just listed above, the skin issues, the headaches, the migraines, the low mood, etc. And sometimes it's based on foods that you ate, believe it or not, because some foods are high in histamine. All right, so let's get to that in one moment. So when there are higher amounts of estrogen, like the first 14 days of a woman's menstrual cycle, especially after, let's say, day 5 or so, you may experience more of those histamine issues. And that is because estrogen can actually bind to mast cells and stimulate I call it granulation, but the release of histamine. So mast cells will release histamines into the body, causing inflammation. And the other interesting thing about estrogen, besides binding of mast cells and releasing histamines, they can downregulate DAO, which is diamine oxidase production. This is an enzyme that helps to degrade and break down histamines, that if you have no issues with all these things that I talked about, you typically have good DAO. Now, for someone like me back in the day who had H. pylori, SIBO, and Candida, I wasn't producing enough diamine oxidase, 1, because of genetic issues there, and 2, my gut was inflamed and it was a mess, and you're producing a lot of the diamine oxidase in your gut. So estrogen can both produce more, basically stimulate more histamine, and stop it from being degraded. That's a double whammy. That is not ideal, right? Okay, now at the same time, we have to understand that now histamine is being circulated in the blood. Here's the interesting thing. Histamine can bind in the ovaries, stimulate more estrogen, as well as aid in the overproduction of LH, which is luteinizing hormone. So now, luteinizing hormone, signaling for more estrogen, you have higher levels of estrogen. So histamine can cause more estrogen production. Estrogen then binds to the mast cells, releases more histamine, and it's downgrading the enzyme that degrades the histamine, that gets rid of it. So you can see, once you raise one of these, estrogen or histamine, it is a vicious cycle, right? And that's why these things are difficult to overcome unless you know the underlying root cause. So it's not always just high estrogen or high histamine. It can sometimes be moderately elevated levels of both that are then just, like I said, in a vicious cycle, not allowing it to be alleviated from the body. So here's what we need to do. If it is a digestive system issue, and you have candida overgrowth or SIBO or parasites or H. pylori, you need to fix that first. So you just have to go through that work. We use the CBO protocol. You can use whatever you'd like and work with your IHP or doctor or practitioner, right? So you need to fix the gut. That's kind of first and foremost, because if that doesn't happen, then you'll never be able to produce the diamine oxidase to the level that you want, and you'll always have higher levels of inflammation and histamines. So then the histamines then will aggravate your estrogen, even if you get estrogen under control. Okay, so that's that. Now, the next part is this. We need to be able to control estrogen. So oftentimes we need to increase fiber and water in a man or woman's diet, which will help bind up estrogen in the intestines and get it out of the body. We'll also do something like a functional medicine detox in order to be able to open up liver detox pathways to better remove estrogen from the body. Get it right out of the body. That is the goal. Get it out of the blood. Once it's used, get it out of the body, okay? So that's gonna be really powerful. The faster we remove these things from the body, once they no longer be needed, the better. We can also add more cruciferous vegetables in a person's diet. That is the broccoli, the cauliflower, the Brussels sprouts, the items like that that are gonna improve, right? And if you have digestive issues, obviously you have to go a little easier on those. But those are very, very helpful. I mean, they really are. We also use a product called Estrogen Balance. That's great for estrogen dominance. That's going to help remove the estrogen, get rid of it faster, and not allow for the greatest production of it. So that's typically a good thing as well. And then food-wise, well, we're absolutely, for a period of time, eliminating alcohol or going very, very low on it, because it's not going to remove estrogen from your body as fast if your body's dealing with removing alcohol. And most alcohols are fermented. I have trouble thinking of anyone that isn't fermented, right? And so any fermented food or aged food or alcohol is going to have higher levels of histamines. Same with smoked foods. So like the worst of all would be like a smoked aged tequila, or like whiskey in a barrel, right? Those are gonna be the highest histamines in the world. I learned the hard way, tasting a few of those are not ideal, right? So I don't do a whole lot of alcohol in general because it's just, again, with my genetics, overall, it's not a healthy thing for you. But even again, if you have poor detox factors, et cetera, it's not great for you, like by any stretch of the imagination. But anyway, smoked, aged, or fermented foods, I'm gonna link up a podcast on histamines. You can learn more about them anyways. I give you exactly what foods to stay away from, so I'll share that in that show. We talked about improving the detox pathways. If you need to, increase progesterone, because increasing progesterone to normal, healthy levels, and again, my highest recommendation if you're dealing with these things is to run a lab called the Stress, Mood, and Metabolism Lab, all right? You can find that at stephencabral.com/labs. That'll send you over to Equalife. You can find the Stress, Mood, and Metabolism Lab there. Okay, so that's vitally important, because if you're low on progesterone, when you raise progesterone, it's going to help the estrogen levels. You want to have the estrogen dominance, and it's going to help, therefore, the histamines as well. All right, the last couple things I wanted to share with you, vitamin B6. I've been talking about it a lot over the past couple of weeks. Highly recommended to improve overall histamine pathways, detox pathways in the body. I would typically never take it alone. I would take it inside the daily nutritional support, the daily activated multi, or the activated B complex. Again, please use all of your favorite nutritional supplement providers. I recommend that they're GMP certified. I recommend that they're functional medicine companies. That's it. You can get them from your doctor, integrative health practitioner, etc. And the last one, this is an herbal-based formula. Again, you can get it from herbs, but I'll just share with you what it is. It's called Hist Pro, okay? Like it says, histamine, Hist Pro, histamine modulator. It's going to help with what? Vitamin C. It's a naturally antihistamine. It's going to have quercetin, naturally antihistamine. Stinging nettles also helps with histamines. Bromelain. So like these things are so great. You can do a stinging nettle tea if you like nettle tea. That will help. These are all things that I found incredibly beneficial for myself and others in my practice. And if you're dealing with estrogen dominance, you want to get to the root cause. You want to help support your genetic issues. You want to fix the digestive issues. And I'm telling you right now, like I'm living proof that you can overcome these things. And I wanted to share that hope with you. It's not just me, it's many, many other people inside of our practice that we've seen over the years. So hopefully this now makes sense. And I would love for you, again, this is all information that we want to share with as many people as possible. So always do feel free to share this with anyone you believe it could serve. Take care, everybody. Thank you so much. Have an amazing rest of the day.
Are you ready to heal yourself and then go on to heal others? If so, the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute can help you discover proven functional medicine protocols that blend the best of 7 different healing disciplines from around the world. I personally share with you the exact handouts and protocols I use in my private practice that enable people to get well, lose the weight, and live longer, stronger. I want to pass this information on to the next generation of health coaches, and that is exactly why I created IHP. We are the future of the health coaching industry, and the skills and knowledge you will learn will make you an in-demand certified health coach anywhere in the world. Although we have many medical professionals taking the IHP certifications, no experience is necessary, and half our members have no previous health certifications. At the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, our motto is a health coach in every home. Our goal is that you take this knowledge and then share it with family, friends, loved ones, your community, or in a practice where you create a career you love and can be proud of. The global IHP community is filled with some of the most kind and caring people in the world, and we can't wait to welcome you into our world soon. For more information or to set up a discovery call with one of our IHP Health Coach graduates, simply head over to integrativehealthpractitioner.org.